So in this video, I'd like to talk about some issues that are affecting the LGBTQ plus community. Keep in mind though that this list is just a small portion of all of the things that are affecting the LGBT community, which I can't possibly just compile an entire list in just one video, but I'm going to do my best to talk about some of the less common ones. So some of the common issues though that most people would know about is the bathroom discrimination for transgender people and same-sex marriage. So House Bill 2 would be an example of the bathroom discrimination for trans people, where it requires that people use the bathroom associated with the sex listed on their birth certificate, which can cause some problems for transgender people. So an example of issues with same-sex marriage would be the case with Kim Davis, where she refused to sign off on a marriage certificate for a same-sex couple because it went against her religion. So some uncommon issues that most people don't know about. One is rape by fraud, or rape by deception, in which someone can't claim rape where they had consensual sex with someone, but they were either tricked into it or lied to and in order to have it. And so how this could negatively affect, say, trans people is that they could be charged for rape for having sexual intercourse with someone without disclosing that they are transgender prior to the intercourse. So there's discrimination for LGBTQ plus people in the housing market, where same-sex couples, married or unmarried, don't exactly have the same tax deductions, or it may be harder to find a home because they may not get approval for it because they are a same-sex couple compared to heterosexual couples, and in the result of either like a breakup or death of one of the people in a same-sex marriage or relationship, the surviving person in a death may not be able to obtain all property of the deceased person because they are not considered related. So this was sort of treated by the Fair Housing Act, which protects discrimination based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, family status, or disability. But the problem with it is that it does not protect based on sexual orientation or gender identity. So there's also discrimination in the workplace towards LGBTQ plus people, where, say, a same-sex couple just got married and their boss finds out the next day at work, and their boss doesn't like that, they would be able to fire them just because of that. So the Equality Act was passed to establish explicit protections against discrimination based on an individual's sexual orientation or gender identity in terms of employment, housing, education, jury service, and others. So then the other one is mass incarceration of LGBTQ plus people. So in many places, someone identifying as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, etc. could land in jail just by being open about it. So they would have to hide it or refuse to accept themselves. Otherwise, they are charged as being a criminal for it. So trans people are also at risk for this because, say you have a male to female who is placed in jail even though they didn't do anything, say it's because they are trans that they're being punished as a criminal or falsely accused and being put in a jail cell for holding, they may be put into the wrong sex's jail, so they'd be put into the male jail cells, and even if they look completely like a woman, or if they've had the sex change surgery already, they may get put into the male one, which as you can tell, there'd be a problem there. And same for females to males being put into the female one. It doesn't just make the trans person uncomfortable, it also makes all of the other inmates there uncomfortable too. So those are just some issues in the LGBTQ plus community that I felt I should talk about, because before I did any of this research, I didn't know about rape by deception or the Equality Act. Also, all of the sources to everything that I gathered information from in here will be linked below. And yeah.